Hi, my name is Ronnie Crass. This is Chapter 3 with Homeland Security, Active Shooter, Cybersecurity, etc. So for the textbook, I chose a mutual aid incident that happened over in Greendale, Indiana, with responding units coming from Ohio, and wondering if it's covered under workers' comp if somebody or firefighters injured while at that scene. I chose that because we work with mutual aid units that are always going to Indiana, specifically Greendale, Lawrenceburg at times. Harrison will go into Dearborn County on I-74 for car accidents, etc. I chose it because I was interested in finding out if they actually have anything in writing. I would assume they do, but I'd like to know what the legal aspects are if anything happens. So I'm going to be talking to my nephew, who's actually a full-time firefighter at Harrison, and see what he has to say about this. But I found that interesting because I just assumed everybody was always covered if going to a neighboring state. For the recent case, I chose the Pennsylvania high school student that was expelled after making threatening comments in the school hallway. Some other students went to administrators, told on the guy, and he was 15 years old at the time, and I guess he was charged in the case and appealed the court's decision, and then it was upheld at the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And I chose that case basically because we have Oak Hills High School and also LaSalle High School in the district I cover. Now, these are two large high schools, Oak Hills being one of the biggest in the state of Ohio. And LaSalle High School actually had an incident where there was a student shot inside, but he used his own gun, and he very easily could have used it on other people. So I found that case interesting, just because there's a zero tolerance policy nowadays, and kids can't get away, and it's nice that you got students that actually go and tell on these other kids to prevent things like that from happening. Now, for the current event, I chose Man Runs Truck in the fire station. I chose this one because we actually had an incident at the station I was working at the time where a guy broke one of our bay windows out. He was involved in a domestic situation, had police coming to the scene, but they were not there yet. Before the police got there, he actually broke out one of the windows. He didn't try to get in, but he was just frustrated and punched it. But as a result from this, we actually implemented having cameras placed at all of our stations for security reasons, and we also have locks on all of our doors now. It used to be generic codes at all the stations where you just put in like a 3-digit number, but now everybody has their own specific code and or a key card they can use to get into the stations. But if you go to firehouse.com, there's actually an article that talks about 10 points to have a safer fire station, things you can do to protect yourself. Now, I'm sure nowadays all the other stations, at least the ones I've been to, have implemented kind of the same thing and got rid of the generic codes, but I know some stations actually still have them. For officer development, I chose a question: can unions restrict firefighters from also serving on volunteer fire departments? I picked this one because when I first started out, Bill Ellison was killed. I can't remember if this was 2003 or so, but it's sometime around 2003 when I started. Bill Ellison was full-time at Anderson Township. However, he was working at Miami Township part-time when he was killed in a house fire. And I know there's a bunch of issues going on at the state level and also at the Anderson Township level on who's paying for certain things, who's getting the benefits, things like that. So I found that interesting, and I'd be interested to know how it all played out with the state, because like I said, I heard hearsay here and there, but I never followed up on anything I heard. So if anybody has any information on that, pass it on. It'd be nice to hear. And also one other thing, Who Dey?